Week ahead astrology for you, kind of a big squarey week. It's a shift of Mars into Virgo. That's a big deal. Sun moves into Cancer at the end of the week. And we start off with these dynamic frictional squares. And midweek we have one too. The Sun goes into Cancer and we get a couple more squares. So what I want to do is talk a little bit about the upside, right? So yeah, there's stuff going on in the world that is uncomfortable, difficult, challenging. And your mileage may vary on how these things are going to come through in your life. It will vary because everything comes back to you, your individuation, your chart, and what's being activated or lit up. It's like a music box, or the different little pegs are going to make different music, different sounds. It's not going to be the same for everybody. Some things are going to be more challenging for you, and some will be no biggie.
And every time those bend and they vibrate, they produce a sound. And each one of those, because they have a different length, produces a unique different sound.
June 15th is where we're starting off. This has been building for a while. There's a double square. Mars is in Leo, Uranus is in Taurus, and they're squaring from 90 degrees to each other. And then we also have the Jupiter-Saturn square, and that's the last of the three in the cycle. So whatever's been coming through this weekend, if it's been tense for you, that's probably why. But there is an upside. Now, if you look at the chart, you can see that, yeah, those big red lines, those are squares, but there's something else that's an out of sign sextile, and that's good news. I'm going to explain that more in a second, but let's get into the squares really quick so it makes sense. Squares and oppositions, they're bringing some dynamic tension, but specifically squares, they're of the nature of Mars. So there's some active push, a fight, I feel like it's a wrestling match or some sort of face-off, a debate, where two planets that are in the same kind of energy, so fixed, mutable, or cardinal, they both have some connection to each other, but they come from different angles of that same energy, if that makes sense. So there's some newness and growth that will always come out of a square, but it's based on how we react to it. We don't have a lot of control over other people or circumstances. Those are fated elements. We do have control over how we process things, how we experience them in our minds, and how we express things. That's our free will within. So this is going to bring us some newness and growth if we shift our focus from the difficulty into what it will bring on the other side. Let's break them up real quickly. Okay, Mars square Uranus. Now this is weird because we haven't had one in a very long time, since last year. Mars has been in Cancer and Leo for a long, long time. And this week, on the 17th, it moves into Virgo. That's going to be a huge difference. But before it does, we have this spark, this strangeness. Mars is very bold in Leo, wants to express itself, pushing for action, bravery, courage, And Uranus is in steady Taurus that loves everything to be peaceful and calm and beautiful. And Uranus is still there going, come on, let's make this a little more fun while I'm here. I'm here for a little bit longer. Let's mix it up. And so they're both at these anaretic degrees, 28 degrees, 29 degrees. This is the end game of both of these signs. So it's been a while. It's been a year since they've met up. So there's a charge to it. This is a charged energy between the two. It's really most powerful between the 14th and the 16th because Mars is moving. We have to embrace whatever is coming to us during this time, even if it's difficult to see there is going to be a way forward. Now, I'll give you an example that's a subtle one. So my son graduated high school. I mentioned that in my members video, and also mentioned that I had to factory reset my phone. So I didn't put back on a lot of the apps that were wasting my time. I'm not that much of an Instagram girl, but I deleted it. And then I decided to put it back on because I wanted to see what my son and his friends were uploading from the graduation stuff. While I was on there, I saw something from a family member. This person in my family posted something political that surprised me. I didn't understand or know that they felt like that. And it just kind of shocked me for a second, which is that Uranian destabilization and my desire to just want everything to be calm and steady here. It comes in and and then Mars kind of reacts to it because it's like wants to stand up for my position and my belief and thinking that person is wrong or whatever. So that was one of those tense moments, even though it was subtle. I had to process that it's okay, that this doesn't mean anything. It's how they're experiencing their reality. My experience of reality is different, and we can still love each other. We can still be kind to each other. We just don't need to talk about those things. I try not to speak politically. I try not to put anything political anywhere because it's just such a tinderbox, and it shifts the way people perceive each other, even though it's not necessarily correct because it's such a laser point of one thing about one person. And our beliefs are being built around what we are being told and what we see and what we know. And most people are coming from a place of goodness in their heart, but it's a shifting of the perspective and then brings tension. So hopefully that can help understand that Mars-Uranus square, and they can be bigger things too. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now that's like that, but amplified. Let's put it that way. The Jupiter-Saturn square is the other one. Here we have nurturing Jupiter in Cancer, exalted, beautiful. Saturn is in Aries, and it's sign of fall. But Saturn there, the reason it's in its fall is just because it's slow and it's in a fast sign, so it has to work extra hard. It has to try to get its point across. And Aries is a difficult place for Saturn to be because it's so unruly. But at the same time, since Aries has gotten Saturn's influence, for me personally, I've had so much of a different experience. It's remarkable how much more calm almost I am. Like, whereas before maybe that Aryan part of me wanted to just lash out or say something. It's like I feel like I'm thinking before I'm speaking much more and slowing down that response of Saturn's helping me out there. So it's also a good point that this individuation depends on how Saturn is for you and where it is in your chart and how it's working. So let's talk about the square. It's the third and final of the series. It goes back to 2020 when Jupiter and Saturn made their great conjunction.
Ask what the great conjunction is. What's the great conjunction?
What's the great conjunction?
Every 20 years, they make what's called the Great Conjunction. It starts their synodic cycle together. Jupiter is our optimism, it's our joy, it's all the good things that make us want to learn and explore. And Saturn is more about responsibility and the reality, right? Jupiter can go all off and be like, mystical and not really in reality. And Saturn's a reminder, like, we still have a material body, but we have to do these things. We have to clean house. We need to make plans and
sometimes good, sometimes bad.
So together they make this combination of our material reality, our responsibilities, and our joy, our spiritual connections. That's our 20-year cycle. So the square happens about a quarter of the way into it. So if you think about it like a football game, we're in the end of the first quarter of Jupiter and Saturn in their cycle, this Aquarian cycle. They met in Aquarius. So the squaring up in these cardinal signs is a little bit more of an action to do something, and Saturn has the leg up on Cancer Jupiter right now because of the location of it in the chart, according to Hellenistic astrology. So it's more of that challenging bit of the square that Saturn is going to take over. So instead of just having to adjust, we might have to do something about it. And that can linger on, especially regarding the long-term goals. So it might be time to set something up and be a little bit more tough in order to be stronger in the future. Life and astrology move in these cycles, okay? It's like we have an action, then there's a reaction, a response, and then an integration. Those are the four things that I believe that's like the cycle of life. And the reaction is part of what a square is. The square is, you have to react to it, because what if somebody comes up and wants to fight you? You have a choice, but most of the time you kind of want to fight back, right? And there's a reaction to that experience, and that challenges us to adapt. Even when two things come together, one will be the winner, but both are going to get some sort of experience of, like, if you think of boxers, one doesn't come out perfectly fine. He's been beat up too. All right, so here's where I see the cool thing. It's the out of sign sextile that are in play from these squares, and they're going to be blossoming and blooming into proper sextiles. A sextile is a 60-degree angle, and it's of the nature of Venus, so it's stimulating, it's beautiful, it's something that brings joy and pleasure to each other, those two planets. It's a little trickier because of the elements that are involved, right? So fire and water don't really go together so well, and earth and fire, they don't fully align. But from the 12th to the 18th, that's the potential that's building, and it's going to unlock around the 17th. The payoff is going to come because Mars is going to enter Virgo, and then Uranus also enters Gemini in July. So that's when the true sextiles will be coming through. Uranus is going to change everything. In Gemini, it'll be electrified. It's like, whoo, I'm ready. I can play. This is my playground. I'm cool. Let's do this wild thing. Curiosity and new ideas. Who knows? It's always going to have an upside and a downside.
It is the end of the world! Oh, the beginning?
But it will be getting a really nice sextile from Saturn in Aries, which is supportive. They'll build together. They'll be able to help each other out. You got this? Yeah, I'll help you out here. You got that? Yeah. Here, I'll give it to you. And then Mars and Virgo, it's a little bit of a shorter time. It's June 17th through August 7th, but that time, that period, it will be sextiling the beautiful Jupiter in Cancer that we have for the whole year. Mars enters Virgo on the 17th of June, and it will be there until August 7th. So pretty nice big chunk of time here. And that's going to bring us into this detail-oriented, very focused energy. Mars in Virgo is analytical and effective, wants to clean things out, clear things out, get rid of the excess. And one of the things I mentioned in the month ahead is that if you clean out your closet or something, wait maybe until August to donate everything, because you might realize you need a few things that you're just on fire to clean up and clear out, sort of stuff like that. So there's a heightened scrutiny as well. Anything that goes into Virgo is going to Virgify. And one of the difficult things about Virgo is the judgment, the scrutiny, the perfectionism, the desire to want to make everything perfect, even though it's a pipe dream. Nothing can ever be perfect in this realm. We can just get as close to better as possible. So Mars will be very analytical, very logical decisions, industrious, hardworking, decluttering, all that stuff. You can spot the flaws. Now that's the flip side. You can see what needs to be removed, what needs to be let go of. And it's very purposeful. Mars in Virgo is an interesting place. And that sextile from Jupiter is going to make it a softer version of this. So probably not so much difficulty with the judgment or scrutiny. It's probably a little bit more just direct and helping us out in that area. On June 19th, we have another square. Jupiter is going to square Neptune. And these two together, I think they kind of have some similarities. They both are related to Pisces. Neptune's the modern ruler. Jupiter's the traditional ruler. And they're going to square up at 2 degrees. So by this time, Jupiter will be at 2 degrees Cancer and Neptune at 2 degrees Aries. That's going to blend idealism and action. So potentially this week, there may be even more of this energy across the board of fighting or idealism or over-optimism or whatever it's going on right now in the world. But the grand vision may be starting to come out as well, because at the same time, Jupiter is going to be getting really nice energy from Mars. It's going to peak between June 17th and the 21st. Just give yourself a little bit of time there. If it's a slowing down of your dream, your reality, clarity, lean into that Mars and Virgo energy and take some time to organize, clear your mind. Maybe do some pursuits in nature, very physical, right? Virgo has to do with the body as well, healing your health, your wellness. Maybe starting a program where you're moving your body a little bit more, something like that. June 21st, the sun moves into Cancer, joins Jupiter. It's going to square, just like anything that goes into Cancer. It's going to square Saturn, it's going to square Neptune. But then it comes into a cazimi with Jupiter. Jupiter will come into the cazimi with the sun by the 24th. So that is the beginning of the release. Anything that's difficult up until the 24th, just be patient. Try to learn our lessons that come. Try to have, your own free will. Use your mind as your power, because you have empowerment over yourself. And then know that we're coming into an exquisite new moon in Cancer that Jupiter is conjoined with. But Sun in Cancer on the 21st, it's an introspective period. It's about home, family, connections, cozy gatherings. Sun squaring Saturn, Sun squaring Neptune back to back like that, it's just going to bring a little bit more sensitivity. So whatever happens this week, if there's an escalation of the difficulties that are going on, it may be the processing time, because the sun is going to clearly be saying, hey, we're shining a light on this. And coming from this area of Cancer, which is more of a nurturing, introspective place, the boundaries a little bit blurred there, a little bit unsure. But then Sun conjoins with Jupiter and the light is going to shine through, a little more optimism that really makes sense. The overhyped narratives that are going on, the intuition, the clarity, the encouraging of self-awareness, all that stuff is to be kept in mind. A reminder, I still have readings open through the summer. They're sort of sparse because they're filling up, and of course it's summertime, so having different activities with the family and stuff. But if you feel called to have a reading with me, they are open and available on my website, elnatali.com. You can check the description below for a link there. I like you just the way you are. Hope you have a beautiful week ahead, and I will talk to you next time. Okay.